Hey everyone, it's Sam again. I would like to apologize again for not putting up an episode. I've been really busy the last week or so. Partly busy actually discovering some interesting ways of using OpenGL in Java to create better graphics than what Java 2D provides. I'll still continue making this tutorial series, but I think afterwards I might show you a little bit of what I'm doing with OpenGL in Java, because it's surprisingly easy to make, lightning fast and butter smooth two-dimensional graphics using OpenGL in Java. But enough about that. For now, let's get back to our little game. If you remember last time, we created a little bit scrolling background for our game, so we can move around, we can jump, and we've got this little background that scrolls slower, than the foreground, which is pretty cool. It creates this sort of sense of depth. Today I'd like to get first I'd like to make a couple of changes real quick. If we go into our platform class, our temporary platform class we created, I'd like to add in a couple of parameters to our constructor here. First is I'd like to add a float, we'll call it width, and a float called height. And then here where it says width equals 300, height equals 200, we'll say this dot width equals width. And likewise, this dot height equals height. That's going to set the width and height of this platform to the width and height we specify in the constructor. So we can change the size of individual platforms. This one we want it to be 300 by 20, I think. Also in the platform, I'm going to change it to a brown color, so it looks a little more like dirt or something. Color dot brown. Oh, there's no color dot brown. Okay, I guess we'll make that. Here you can say new color, and you specify 3 parameters, or 4 if you wanted alpha, but we don't, so leave that alone. I'm not sure how to make brown with this. Basically, each number is red, green, and blue in that order. Any number from 0 to 255. So 000 is black, 255, 255, 255 is white, 255 here, and 0 and everything else is pure red. You get the idea. So what would that be? It'd be like 180. I really don't know what this would be. 50 and 50? What would that look like? Well, first off, here where it says draw rect, let's change that to fill rect, so that we can see the color a bit better. A little too red. Let's add a little more of the other things. Say 80 and 80. Let's reduce this to maybe 120. Getting there. What if we reduce our blue to 50? That's looking closer to what we want. I'm going to reduce the blue to 40, green to 70, red to 110. It'll make it darker colored. Okay, that's good enough. So now we've got our platform, and we've got our little character that jumps around, and it's pretty cool. As you can see, I'm not paying much attention to graphics. That's because this tutorial is not going to show you much about the graphics. It's going to show you how to write the code, because I'm not really an artist. Not in that sense, anyway. Anyway, let's see, what should we do now? Let's go ahead and make our player able to shoot things. So I'm going to create a little class. I'm just going to call it bullet. It will, of course, extend sprite. And we've got to add its constructor. And clean this up a bit. Okay. So the bullet, what it needs to do is, let's say public void update float delta time, and let's say public void render graphics G. Sorry, this should be graphics, or should that be graphics 2D? It doesn't matter. Okay, let's add an int we'll say this is a public int direction equals 0. And right here I'm just going to add a comment. 0 equals left, 1 equals right. Because that will determine which direction this should be flying whenever we fire the button. Or when we press our fire button, we got to see which direction we're facing and make sure the bullet flies that way. We're going to say public float speed equals, let's say something fast like 400 for now. Our constructor will be pose x, pose y, and direction. And another float, public float damage equals, let's say 10.0. I'm sorry, it should be int direction. And we can say this dot direction equals direction. This dot damage equals damage. Wait, no, that's not right. Damage will be set in here. Ignore that. And then an update, we're going to say float move x equals 0 if direction equals 0, which is left, direction, 2 equal signs, equals 0, then move x minus equals speed, and else move x plus equals speed. This moves us to the left, this moves us to the right. And at the end of the function, we say that pose x plus equals move x times delta time. And then for render, we just say g.setColor, let's say color.red for bullets. And let's make bullets yellow. Now it'll blend in too much with the ground. Let's just leave them as it is, red. And then g.fillRect, or maybe we can make a little oval shape for this. Fill oval. Actually, come think that I wonder how ovals will look in pixelated form. Oh well, let's try anyway. Integer that is pose parentheses pose x minus width divided by 2. Integer that is pose y minus height divided by 2. An integer that is width, and an integer that is height. And lastly, in here in our constructor, let's say that width equals 10 and height equals 10. I don't really know how large that is yet in our world. But here in our player class, we're going to add something. We're going to say let's do it after our movement code is all handled. Maybe right before we do the final stuff. We're going to say if input dot get key down key event dot vk let's say s will be our fire key. If we do that, then we're going to say bullet equals new bullet, pose x, pose y, we want to spawn at our position. Direction for now we'll just say 0, but we'll have to find out, we'll make a way to get our player's direction for this later. And then we say world dot current world dot sprites. I don't know, that's not right. World dot current world dot how did we do that before? I'm slightly confused here. How did we add sprites to the world? I've been doing another project while I'm doing this, that's why I'm having trouble here. Oh, we don't have that. Here's the thing. Whenever we want to add a sprite to the world, we need to have a method that lets us do that, because we can't just do what we've been doing and get this sprites variable and add something to it, because while we add something, we're already iterating through this list. You see, we're going through this list of sprites. That's what we're doing while we're updating the game. And if one of the things we do while we're updating the game is adding a sprite, we'll get what's called a concurrent modification exception, which means you can't modify a list while you're iterating through it, or else you will cause problems, because you've changed the length of the list, and now it doesn't know which item in the list is which. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. To keep these episodes a little bit short, I'm going to create this, I'm going to split it right here in 2 parts, but I'll upload both parts today, probably. So if you like this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time, which is going to be in about a minute. Bye.